Hello, universe. Welcome to Off the Rails with Tom and Mark.
All right, welcome back, universe, to Season 3.
Season 3?
No.
Season 2.
Episode 2 of Season 2, our first ever second episode.
Coming to you live on Facebook from the Coldwell Banker Home Sale Realty Studio here in beautiful Grafton, Wisconsin.
All right, and today we're doing our Veterans Day special. Thank you very much to our veterans for
third
coming.
annual Veterans Day
Third
special.
annual Veterans Day special. We have Command Sergeant Major Frank Parker,
Already fucked it up.
retired Army Reserve, and Colonel Tony Majewski, retired Army Reserve. Thank you guys for coming on today.
Thank you for your service, gentlemen.
Pleasure to be here today.
Full disclosure, Colonel Majewski is my father.
Yep.
Thank you.
And Mark is my son.
That works out pretty good. All right. Thank you to our veterans for coming on. Thank you to all of our veterans for your service. Oh, before I even do the tease tape, we got some gifts for you.
Tom insisted on this.
All right,
There you go. Here's
thank
a
you.
couple gifts. Check it out.
Okay.
There you go.
Thank you.
It's a rifle pen.
Oh, wow.
Check it out. It's made out of a bullet, and it's got a little bit of a rifle on there. So,
Well, could we say they're artillery round pens?
artillery round pens? Or what do you think?
Oh, sharp. Thank you.
There you go. Makes Vietnam totally worth it. You do it all over again. For,
Do it all over. Just for another pen.
Just for
Yes.
another pen. You'd
Yeah,
re-enlist.
wow, yeah.
There you
Thank
go. You can write upside down with that pen.
Wow. Do the Russians know we have this?
Shh, no.
Even in the rain and the mud and stuff.
So last
No
year
self-firing.
I gave one of those pens to my dad last year. Still working, so it's going to last you a
Really?
while. And he
Wow.
uses it all the time.
Any legally binding document? Click, click.
So, all right. Thank you, gentlemen, for coming on today. Today we find out about what daylight savings time does to your health, why the U.S. Army is a fan of Blink 182, biofilm has taken over the Jefferson Monument, fundraising to save a relatively new World War II monument, and we take time to thank a couple of our veterans. But first, what do we like to do here, Mark?
Oh, is this the hot seat?
It's the hot seat! Wow, yeah!
Tom's
We're going to shorten the hot seat song soon.
You can always just stop it.
We paid money for it, so you're going to listen.
He did this in his garage for $10.
In a case of beer.
Oh, all right,
So there's
gentlemen.
some random questions.
Random questions.
Okay.
All right. Do you ever pull rank on Frank here?
All the time.
All the time? Like
I don't have to pull, right?
we?
I
A
have it.
junior cadet outranks Frank. Right? Isn't that how it works?
Tell that to a junior cadet.
I know.
Every officer outranks every
I
enlisted
don't
man.
think so, right?
That is true,
Every-
but you got to be a little bit respectful,
Yeah.
and
Yes.
and use class and tactics. You know.
Like, hey, we're out of chips.
Yep.
Colonels don't get chips, Frank.
Oh, yes, we do.
You might be surprised. Yeah, you might be surprised.
What are some unwritten rules in the Army that there's got to be some sort of unwritten rules?
Or rather, the retired community.
there you go.
Retired
Because
community.
you guys work with the AUSA, and that's a bunch of retired Army
Well,
guys.
we're on a first-name basis. We don't use rank with each other.
Okay.
Which is kind of a normally you're supposed to use rank and stuff, but we don't.
Yeah.
In this environment because we know who we are. He
So
know
once
who
you-
I am.
Right.
Once you're
now,
retired.
if
And
we're
we're
with
friends.
strangers,
Right.
then he will refer to me as Colonel, and I will say Sergeant Major.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
But when just the two of us, we're just like friends and family.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. So
It's just Frank and Colonel.
Right. And that'll work too.
So if you two are at the movie theater, who gets the armrest?
He does.
It's a rank for the armrest.
Right. Rank for armrest. Right.
Rank has privileges.
Because he need all the help he can. You get up and sit down. So you need the armrest, and I don't need the armrest anymore.
All right.
Those days are over for me with the armrest.
Pizza slices, triangles or squares? How do you like them cut?
Triangles.
I like squares.
So I guess we're
Squares it
getting
is.
squares it is.
You see, he outranked me already. He's pulling his authority. See?
Squares it is. All right. A follow-up. What's the best pizza topping? You like the schmob, right?
I like the schmob.
Pepperoni.
Pepperoni.
A classic. For those who don't know, the
And extra
smob
cheese.
is sausage, mushroom, onion, and black olive, which is you can get that at any restaurant in the Midwest.
Yeah, in the 70s, I don't even think they asked what you wanted on your pizza. They just gave you the smob.
I think that was the works. That was every topping they had for a while.
Yeah.
Well,
They just wanted to get rid of it, you know. So they stuck it on the pizza.
I don't know if the black olives were always there. Those always had to be asked for. Yeah.
All right.
I don't like the black olive.
And then they throw in anchovy. Well, they don't throw them in, but you could ask for anchovies too back then.
Since we're on the topic of pizza, thick crust or thin crust?
Thin.
Then
Ooh, I like thick.
I like thick for frozen pizzas, but going out, I get the thin.
All right.
That's how you do it.
I like them both. but-
Mark, now I got a question I want to ask
Sure.
you now. Do you like the pizza cold or you like it hot?
Depends on the toppings.
Ah.
Like I do love the sausage, mushroom, onion, and black olives, but I do not like cold mushrooms.
So, you know, being command sergeant major, whenever you had pizza, you only had maybe one slice that was hot. And then some emergency always came up or something came up with the troops, and you had to leave. So
Okay.
then if there was pizza left,
It was cold.
it was
It
cold.
was cold, yeah.
So now normally when I eat pizza, I'll have one slice that's cold and put the rest in the refrigerator. And then eat it tomorrow morning like for breakfast or lunch. Mm-hmm. Then it tastes better.
Yeah, then he brings me, here, Colonel, just for you, some cold pizza.
Cold pizza, that's right. And you got to share it with your friends.
The guys didn't finish it.
Right. Yep, that's right. Yeah, you got to share it. You know. But that's my favorite, cold.
All right. What's the best French fry shape? You got your waffle fries, you got your wedges, you got
Steak
your
fries,
crinkle crunch,
you got
steak
your-
fries,
Steak fries.
curly fries,
Potato wedge is basically just a potato
cut
quartered.
in yeah,
Oh, that one I couldn't handle.
yeah,
I like the steak fries,
Steak fries?
soft,
soft.
and put a half a pound of butter on it.
I just
On
like
fries.
old-fashioned stick
Let's
fries.
say half a pound of ketchup.
Yeah. No.
I like the little burnt schnibbly ones.
Oh, get toward the end. Yes. Now that's good.
But you got to put them in the,
The
fridge
dark,
and eat them
the
tomorrow.
dark brown ones.
Yeah. You
I'm
got
gonna
all-
I'm gonna
They
be the
snap.
millennial
They
and say
snap
I
in.
like the curly sweet potato fries,
Oh,
Oh, princess.
artisan handmade.
That's what all the young ladies like. You know.
Yeah.
The sweet potato fries, the curly ones.
What can I say? I like hanging out with the ladies.
Hey, nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. You know, if that's what you like. That's what you like. You know.
all right. You get to choose one fast food restaurant because the food is disgusting to close. Which one do you close down? I would close down Rocky Rococo or Long John Silver's. They got to go. I can't stand either of them.
They're probably gone already.
No, Rocky Rococo made a comeback.
Yeah.
There's
yeah,
a Long John Silver's not too far from here.
Yep, and they're making a comeback. I would say, boy,
Worst one.
Burger King.
Burger King's got to go?
No, Burger King's got to stay.
No. Okay, now we got our first big argument. You know,
There we go.
Colonel and
It
Sergeant
takes
Major.
2 hands to handle a Whopper.
Okay. I'm not going to concede yet. Burger
That's-
King got to go.
Burger King gotta go?
Got to go. Yeah, got to go.
I'm gonna be difficult because I have a 2-year-old and I don't want her getting addicted to Happy Meals. I'm gonna say McDonald's.
It's got to go?
It's gotta go.
Oh,
go.
well,
You
Dairy,
can't get rid
Dairy
of
Queen
McDonald's.
could go.
That's where I get my blizzards.
They
They could stop serving
strips.
hot
could stop-
food
yeah.
and just do ice cream.
Yeah, 'cause
then the drive-through would not take 5 hours to get
That's
through.
true, yes. And it's not worth waiting for either.
Not for the hot food.
No.
It's
Not
worth waiting for the ice cream.
Yeah, ice cream is good. Yeah, ice cream is good. Hot dogs
Yeah,
are good. Burgers are bad over
Yeah.
there.
You waited so long, so now the ice cream is cold, right?
Well, they don't make it until I'm next.
Oh, okay.
I imagine.
Okay, all right.
I hope.
I show up to your house and I drop off a pygmy elephant. And the police say that it's now yours. What do you do with it?
How tall is a pygmy elephant?
Not about that big.
So you could ride it.
Yeah, maybe.
Just ride it and just put it in the backyard and leave it in the backyard for a while. And then let the neighbors complain.
I don't think it eats grass.
Probably can't pull a tree down. So
Yeah.
I just throw it in the backyard. And that way you're safe.
Not gonna-
That's what the sergeant major would do with it. Now, Colonel, who knows? He might
Yeah.
take it inside the house.
I might call the Humane Society and have them
Yeah.
take it.
Yeah, it'd probably drink all your fish tank water.
Probably.
Well,
Mark, what would you do if I just dropped off a pygmy elephant and the police said, too bad, it's yours now. It's your problem. That's a Mark problem.
well, I know where you live. And you have a fence, so you don't even have to be home.
Oh, yeah. You could just drop it back off.
Yep.
It'll just be in your yard.
Just an orphan pygmy
I'll
elephant going
I'll
all
stay
over.
in the house till it wanders off to someone else's house. And,
Right.
yeah.
All right. Something that you tried once that you will never do again. Mark made me try octopus once.
It was sushi.
Raw octopus, baby octopus.
You can't go to a sushi place with all the crazy Star Wars things on the menu and not order something like octopus.
Well, I guess I would have to say rice. I don't do rice.
No, you're talking food. I'm talking
No,
experience.
any experience.
Yeah, I just pulled out food because that's
Okay.
Yeah.
I was
Pulled out food.
that octopus wasn't cheap, and when he spat it out, I was like, oh god damn it!
No,
You owe me $5.
my wife and I took a train trip, but that was a bucket thing. But I don't think I'd ever want to do it again.
Was it overnight?
Yeah, that was from here to Albuquerque
When was this?
a couple years ago.
Oh, okay.
You weren't invited.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, this is awkward.
You were still a kid then, so you probably would have enjoyed it.
I mean, it's nice, but the sleeping arrangements are really terrible on a train. We had we had a room or roomette, whatever you want to call it, upper and lower, and going out. That train just walked back and forth. You actually got to put yourself in a web gear if you're up on
Like a hammock?
Wow.
yeah, like a hammock, but there's also a web you got to attach to the ceiling so you don't roll out. Yeah,
That's awesome.
No, that's not.
I just put my arm through the webbing so I wouldn't have to roll around in it. So I
How
just
do you
slept that way.
sleep?
Yeah.
I don't think you do.
You don't. You don't. You're just laying down.
If you enjoy being rocked back and forth, you will have a nice
I'd
sleep.
probably just stay
Yeah,
in
but
my
I hate
seat.
when a train honks its horn coming by my house. If you're on the train, it honks its horn constantly. How are you going to sleep on that thing?
They probably stopped doing it.
No, they still do.
Oh,
No, I mean honking the horn at night.
Oh, if
Yeah.
you're going
No,
through a
they do
town
it.
or if you're going through an intersection,
Aren't there quiet zones where they can't do that?
No.
the trains, no.
I thought there
If
were.
they're going through an intersection, they got
They have to.
They
Horn.
got to toot the horn.
Well, that sucks.
Yeah, you're
3
not
o'clock
sleeping
in the
on a train.
morning.
Tom used to
train.
live between train tracks.
Yeah.
Yeah, now I just live kind of near one. But.
Yeah, we moved and we were like, yes, no trains.
No more trains.
There's a train track like a block, 2 blocks away. Son of a.
Yep.
Still got a train.
It's probably not as frequent though.
No.
Oh no, it's the tooting of the horn.
The trains here in Grafton versus the trains in Slinger,
Yeah.
Okay.
where the
Just
train tracks
We didn't
converged.
escape
Yeah.
the train.
Because I know the train tracks in River Hills now, they can't go through during the day.
They can only come at night and two.
That they can only come at night, right? At a certain time.
Yeah.
Because
Is that for
and
traffic?
Yeah, for traffic.
Oh, okay.
And the trains are so long because they're normally the coal trains.
Hmm.
You're looking at a couple hundred cars. So when the traffic dies on, then the train go through. But still, there's certain areas where you cannot toot the horn.
I'm sure they have a pattern of toots, whatever it is.
Every conductor has their own specific horn toot.
Yes, they do.
Yep.
It's more for what they're doing, isn't it?
No, I think every
because
it's personalized.
I was
from what
watching
heard.
something on TV where they were talking about the trains in England,
Okay.
where there was a special toot for if the Queen was on board.
There's
Short,
a special
long,
everything
short,
for
whatever.
the Queen's
Yeah.
there.
The Queen, yes, everything.
Don't you want to not let people know the Queen's on?
But in Europe, the passenger trains have the right of way, whereas in America, the freight trains have the right
Freight
of way.
train had a
Yeah.
How long did it take you to get to New Mexico? From
24 hours.
From Chicago, I imagine.
24 hours, yeah.
Okay. Did you ever have to stop and
Yes.
just let the
Yeah, there were
coal pass or
various
whatever?
various stops where we had stayed there for about 10 or 15 minutes. They also allowed people, if they wanted to have a smoke, to get off the train and have a smoke. But please stay 15 feet away from the train, when you're smoking. So, yeah.
Oh, okay.
As there's just smoke pouring out of the train, rolling over people the whole day. Don't get your little cigarette smoke near me. We're just going to have the smokestack billowing in people's faces all day. So, all right. Let's do some announcements. Happy 2-year anniversary, Universe. We've been around for 2 years already, so
Yeah.
that's pretty cool. 2-year anniversary yesterday. Universe, thank you for all your support. It has been wonderful, really helping me along from last week's episode. Thank you very much. We had a great event for the NSAA. We ended up raising $900 in just a 2-hour comedy event for them. We would have raised more, but don't use Eventbrite, Universe. They
charge you coming and going.
Yeah, you got to pay to use them. They charge the customers for buying tickets, and then at the end, if you want your money, they charge you again. So they ended up taking like 35% of what we could have given. So
Right.
we're not going to use Eventbrite anymore. So next week, we got the Krampenstock special. We're going to have 2 Krampuses in here and a St. Nick. That is going to be, I'm really looking forward to that. So
Apparently, they're going to be in costume.
yeah. So let's get Roy's advertisement. Roy's been, we just moved into our house. We're really liking it. So if you're looking to buy or sell a home or interested in a career in real estate, email Roy at cbhsr.com, or give Roy a call, 414-235-0763. They'd love to be your go-to for all your real estate needs. And we only had to do, it went like buying a house we were in and out.
For you.
You just had to show up on moving day.
We spent one day looking at houses and we found the perfect house right away.
Yes. But then the whole process of actually getting the house.
We'll let her handle
There's the
that.
inspections, then there's the actual signing ceremony, and then there's
Having
it's
the
dragged
keys.
out.
Yeah, the first day we get there, Molly, I didn't do the final walkthrough, and then when I got there's a centimeter of water in the basement. What?
There
You
was a
mean,
leak
like,
in that they have. Is it a sump pump?
Sump pump.
Yeah.
And it's got a rubber gasket on it,
Mm.
and there's a pinhole leak in the $5
Oh,
rubber gasket.
right.
So
We fixed it.
they showed me the basement. I'm like, we're gonna leak right
Molly,
there.
what do you mean we? Did you?
Tom,
Or Tom?
he didn't
We-
do a permanent
Okay, all
fix.
right. I got you.
I moved the
I
clamp
watched.
below the leak and reclamped it.
I'm just
and now
waiting
we
for
don't
that
have
to
a leak.
fly out the top.
Whatever.
Okay, it's fixed then. All right.
Yeah. Bridget was amazing, though.
Yeah,
That was your realtor?
She's my realtor, Roy's daughter, Bridget Shulka.
yeah. Roy sent his daughter to us.
Sent out the A-team.
Yep. He didn't take it personally, but that's all right. He's always schmoozing people on a golf course or something.
That's his job.
Yeah.
He's the regional Grand Poobah or whatever, isn't he? That's
Yeah.
his official title?
Yeah, he's president of Coldwell Banker, so go check those guys out if you're looking to buy a home. I don't have any other experience buying a home, but the one I did have was pretty good. So, all right. Have you guys heard about this? The U.S. Army is partnering with Tom DeLonge. He's the lead singer of Blink-182. They don't tour anymore, but they're studying alien technology. Have you heard about that story?
No.
What does Tom DeLonge have to do? Didn't he think he was abducted or something?
No, he has a show on the History Channel where they try to identify all these UFOs and stuff.
Okay.
So Tom DeLonge owns this company. It's like TSAA or something. It's not. But this company got a hold of confirmed TTSA he owns. So Tom DeLonge owns this company, and they got a hold of some alien metal, 2 different types of alien metal.
Where'd they get this alien metal from?
They're not saying where they got it from, but the Army has confirmed that, hey, we want to see what this metal can do. Let's team up. We want to see how we can use this metal, what it's good for, whether it be components for inside
I think
the phone.
someone in the
or
Army's daughter likes Blink-182, and they just want to be Tom DeLonge.
Are you saying they can reproduce it?
exotic metals. That's what they're trying to reproduce this metal. So
Okay, well, most likely, probably what's going to happen is that if they found 2 different metals, okay,
Yep.
one got to be gold and the other one got to be silver. So can you imagine when a person get his weapon out for basic training, he's firing gold bullets, silver bullets, like the Lone Ranger or the Lone Stranger?
Yeah.
So that's probably.
If you thought the
one of
military budget was
ideas.
bloated now.
Yeah, right.
Wait till we start making our own
He
alien
shot
metal.
gold bullets?
Silver bullets. the
Silver
Lone Ranger.
bullets. Yep.
Okay.
But they're going to start, with the gold and the silver.
So they want to acquire, design, or produce for an array of futuristic modifications like active camouflage, beam energy propulsion, inertial mass reduction, and quantum communication. So there's something to these metals. Now, this doesn't sound like a lot of money from what the Army normally spends, but it's a 5-year collaboration, and it's only $750,000.
That's not much.
So they're not really invested
You
in
could
it.
throw a pizza party with that kind of money.
We can throw 3 comedy events, and if we don't use Eventbrite, we got that money.
And there's money left over for a couple of kegs of beer.
There you go. So he runs this show on the History Channel about UFOs and UFO encounters. Now, about these UFO encounters, the gist of this story is that the Army will never, ever admit that something is a UFO.
Well, I've heard the Navy's been loosening up on it.
They've been loosening up, but they will never say it's alien.
Well, no, a UFO is just they don't know what it is.
Yeah.
It could be Russian, it could be natural.
Unidentified.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's something.
But the fact that they will never say it's alien is because, from this story, they said, what happens if it's some crazy advanced Russian prototype
Yeah.
5 years down the road, and we told you it was aliens?
Or it's
We
some
look
secret
so-
Navy project that didn't tell the Army,
Well,
and then the
Yeah.
Army shoots it down because they think it's Russian. And now
but then again, too, what would the public say if there was some technology out there that we have no knowledge of, nor anything better than? Wouldn't that cause some type of a panic? Especially if you say it's coming from an alien or
Yeah.
a different.
Probably.
So even if it is, even if aliens come down and like shake our hands, the Army's going to say, "Nah, that's
No,
just
never going to happen.
Yeah.
no, those aren't aliens."
I mean, if there are saucers, can they say we can't shoot them down? We can't even track them.
Like,
Going to tell the public that we're totally
that there's nothing we can do.
undefendable.
we got our pants down. Like,
Yeah.
we can't do nothing.
Yeah. I don't think the government would ever admit
Well,
that.
yeah, or even if they knew an asteroid was going to kill everyone on the planet and they spotted it and they did the math and go, we're all boned. Why bother telling anyone?
Well, I heard this new theory. It might not be a new theory, but we'll do a little bit of that. The new thing I heard on this show was that the aliens have already come down,
Okay.
and there's been all these sightings near nuclear, where they make
Power
nuclear
plants or
missiles,
whatever.
nuclear missiles or whatever. And what they're saying is that the aliens have shut down every single nuclear bomb on the planet, and the countries will not admit that their stuff doesn't work. But every country who has nuclear missiles, aliens have come down and basically disarmed them.
That would be nice.
Yeah. So we can't even have a nuclear war if we wanted.
Hmm.
So, because there's like all
And-
these
and what's
sightings
the- and
about
so-
saucers coming down and shooting a beam into these nuclear missiles,
there
and then
any-
they don't work
Is
anymore.
there any evidence of
Yeah,
missiles
they
not
released
working?
they released a paper about aliens coming down, and there's like 100 soldiers or something all saw something shoot something into the building where the nuclear bomb was, and
And they didn't totally freak out?
they all freaked out, but they were told not to say anything, and now the nuclear bomb doesn't work. And they're claiming that every country won't admit it because they don't want to admit that their nukes don't
Are
work.
they sure it didn't work? Did they shoot it?
It's done.
And nothing happened?
Nothing happened. Yeah.
All right.
So these guys who were told not to say anything actually said something.
They released one document that they got a hold of on this show
Okay.
that talked about the UFO coming down to the nuclear site and disarming everything, which would be kind of cool. I mean, if
Well,
one less thing to worry about.
If it'd be terrifying if you're the U.S. government and all your you're told now secretly all your missiles don't work, and you have no idea about the Russian or the North Korean missiles. but
You're
you-
just gonna
you
say
hope
these-
they don't work too.
yeah. Yeah.
Do the aliens know this?
Yeah, because now we're all just playing Russian roulette with empty guns, but none of us know the other guns are empty.
Yeah, that's pretty much the theory that's been going around.
And you know, it must be some good soldiers because they haven't leaked the secret out yet. So now
Yeah.
you can't tell everybody that. You know,
Yeah.
just only the Army you can tell that. If he said, "Don't do this," the Army will make sure that.
So what's the protocol
know.
on
Well, who runs the missile silos? Is that the Air Force or is that the Army?
It was. At that time, it was the Air Force.
Yeah, the Air Force, basically.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know, all the silos and stuff. But
Okay.
the Army had a few, you know, but back in the early 60s, they had the Nike sites like they had up on Silver Springs, down on the lakefront. And they had a unit in
Those weren't
River
nuclear.
Hills.
Those weren't nuclear.
no, they weren't nuclear, but they were capable of being nuclear,
Okay.
you know.
Well,
We had some of that technology back then.
you told me about atomic cannon shells you had handled.
Well, it's not. Yeah.
So isn't any cannon is nuclear capable in that
yes.
sense?
Well, yeah.
that
Howitzer is
depends, yes.
capable of nuclear warhead. Yes. Firing one.
The U.S. Army was looking into that, and Dad actually got to handle one.
When I went through basic, now I was like 50 years ago. It was at Snow Hall, and the instructor was one of the guys who worked with Werner von Braun,
Okay.
and he wanted to volunteer, and I said, "Sure, I'll volunteer." You know, so I went up
Dad
there.
always likes getting up on stage.
No, and I assembled a nuclear round, but I didn't know it was a real one.
Oh,
Because when it was all done, I said, "How do you keep that thing so warm?" Because I didn't see any, electrical outlets going to this box over here warming that thing up. He says, "No, kid." He says, "That's the real thing." He says, "Now go wash your hands and don't play with yourself."
use the Dawn, not the off-brand. I don't want the good stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
Wow.
Wow.
And you assemble it. I can tell you how you assemble it, but anyway, it was an equivalent to Hiroshima, the one I assembled.
Really?
Can the cannon even fire that far? Aren't you screwed if you fire that shell?
Well, yes, in a way. Which way the wind is blowing?
Yeah, depending on the wind.
Because at that time, we only had like a 12 or 15 mile
Range?
Yeah.
So just fire it and.
So
But now, then again,
who came
too.
up with that?
No, wait a second. When we went to White Sands and we went
Yes.
where they
You
detonated
mean me and Matt, the
Yeah,
family
yeah.
tour. Yeah.
where they detonated, that farm was only like a quarter of a mile away or a mile away.
They weren't there when it went off.
Yes,
were
they were, because it was beyond a berm,
Okay.
and the berm protected it from the shock.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Well, I know
if-
the altitude of the explosion has a lot to do with.
and
the
don't forget
danger
all
of it.
those other things where testing where they had the soldiers out in foxholes.
Yeah.
They were directly underneath the blast.
Was it in Bikini Atoll that had Navy men on boats nearby just to see what would happen?
I'm sure
I
within
thought
range.
Yeah, with the
at,
range.
at the same time when it was, we were all learning.
Yeah. They weren't aware of what was happening
Yeah.
with radiation.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh.
Yeah, but
Probably should have used cadavers. The Army's been trying to buy up cadavers lately, so.
Yeah, but then now it's cheaper to use a soldier. But they did at the time.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
Can we buy some pigs or something?
Yeah.
well, closer they had pigs and goats and all the other animals that would.
But they kept pooping on the tanks. No.
Yep.
So what's the protocol for a UFO in the Army?
Yeah, if you
If
guys
this
were
thing-
still in service and you saw something and you didn't know what it was, what's the protocol on that?
I will tell him. And then
Let
get
that
out
shit
of there.
roll uphill.
That's right. Yep. Tell them and get out
It's
of
just
there.
another report you send up.
Yep.
Okay. There's not like a red dot on you. You can tell us. We got the windows closed.
There's a lot of paperwork in the Army. I don't think you realize how much desk time is going on there.
Okay.
Tons.
All right. Jefferson Memorial is being covered by a biofilm. If this story ever wants to pop up.
Like mold?
They thought it was mold, but it's not. It's a different. It's like black mold, but it's a biofilm. Here we go. And they can't get rid of it. Check it out. Here's a picture, Molly, on my screen if you want to show it.
It almost looks like peeling paint from here.
So what they're saying is this is happening because our air quality is so much better nowadays that this biofilm is thriving in better. The pollution was keeping it at bay when we had all the smokestacks and stuff in the 70s.
Okay.
So now that we have better air quality, this stuff is taking over because it likes the environment a lot better.
Where is that at?
It's Jefferson Memorial,
Is that in D.C.?
National Park Service, Jefferson Memorial, Washington. Yeah.
Oh,
Probably some aliens put it there.
yeah.
Yeah.
Alien.
As a joke.
And then just think, it'll probably make its way to the White House.
Yeah, it probably will.
Then it's going to
creeping
be
all over.
the
They don't want to
mold covered house.
They don't want to spray it, like power wash it, because then it gets in the air and it will spread.
Well,
to
it's
other
everywhere.
places.
Then it's in people's
So
lungs.
it's growing on granite or stone?
Yeah, on the stone.
From the stone. Wow.
I
Well,
say you
it's-
just let it cover it and call it the Jefferson Memorial, the George Jefferson Memorial. There you go. Come on, I was
Well,
You said there'll be some bad ones.
Yeah.
they call it the swamp. It was built on wetlands.
Yes,
so
it
this
was.
could just be
True.
something that has always been there,
Right.
and just now it's popping up because conditions are right.
Right.
Conditions are right. We don't pollute as much, and now the biofilm is
And we're not as good at making nature our bitch as we thought we were.
no.
That's right.
Well, it likes the weather.
Huh.
So here's another thing I wanted to run by you guys. The what is it here? The World War II monument that was built 15 years ago is starting to crack.
Which one? The one in Milwaukee?
No, I believe it's in DC again.
Okay. Because it was that one in Milwaukee it was not level. They had to redo the pavers or something by the lakefront,
Oh,
That's just poor maintenance.
just north of the actual.
That's just poor maintenance.
Okay.
Here it is. Here's a picture of that one right there.
Oh, that's the pool. And then on the one side is for the Pacific Theater. On the other side is the European Theater.
European, yeah.
Yep. Well, it's already starting to fall apart, and it's falling under the National Park Service's jurisdiction,
Okay.
and they don't have the money to fix it.
Hmm.
So
So let's sell some brats. Let's get this done.
They're selling commemorative coins to try to raise money for it.
Right.
Isn't there a better way to raise money for a World War II monument than sell some freaking coins?
I've seen you guys selling brats to raise money. What's a good way to raise money?
They need good Wisconsin brats.
Yeah.
Some cheap beers?
And some cheap beer.
I mean, that's where all the veterans fly
that's
from.
where all
The honor flights?
The honor flights.
No, that's one of
That's the main attraction.
Right.
That would kind of suck. If
You go find your state and you take a few pictures around it and the whole area, and then they take you other places as well. But that's the main stuff.
That's the main draw.
That suck
right
if you're
there.
the veteran, you get on a plane, you fly out there, and it's falling apart.
Yeah.
You'd think they'd be able to raise enough money to fix that, just not just locally, but
Nationally.
because of all the national,
Nationally, right.
you know.
So the proceeds from the sale of these coins are going to Friends of the National World War II Memorial, nonprofit, to maintain and repair the memorial.
Well, that's not unlike the situation here, where outside of this building, there is a memorial park area that someone made when a kid died. And they all paid to have it built, but no one gave them a dime to maintain it.
Right.
So now, 10 years later, Tom's doing it with some hedge trimmers just to get a break on our rent.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's overgrown. There isn't enough gravel, so there's weeds everywhere.
I don't have the tools or
Everyone
the chemicals
wants
I
the
need.
memorial, but no one wants to keep it up.
Right.
You pay for the memorial, and unfortunately, there's no funds or anyone available to maintain it.
Yep.
What they didn't have enough money when they built this memorial out here. They used pea gravel, but they probably used about a third of what was needed.
Right.
So now everything is coming through it. They didn't put enough down. So it's like they didn't do it right at the beginning. They probably didn't have enough money to do
Probably
it
all
right.
donated. Yeah.
Probably all donated. But
Plus, Wisconsin is bad weather. Winter, falling, and ice, and then rain and snow, and the temperature differences.
well, then the city comes up and says, "Hey, we're gonna ticket you if you don't fix up this memorial."
Because you not being able to afford the maintenance is, perfect justification for a fee.
For more money.
For
Yeah.
more money.
Debtor's prison, right?
Wow.
More money for them. And none for you.
All right, we'll do one more little war story here that I think was hilarious. You guys ready to make fun of some millennials here?
Sure.
Oh, yeah.
All right, we got a millennial influencer who doesn't think we should be teaching World War II because it's too brutal and harms mental health.
They shouldn't learn about World War I if they're worried about brutality.
Yeah.
Right.
Because last year was the 100th anniversary of the end of World War I, and I was watching a YouTube channel where they covered it week by week.
I took a World War I
And
class.
and that... Whoa.
No consideration of others. Huh?
None.
Oh, don't want to hurt their feelings
just
because they
think-
want to tell them what actually happened.
Yeah.
And if it wasn't for those sacrifices, that kid would not be able to say what he's saying.
Yeah.
Or he'd be saying it in German.
Or thank you. or some other language.
Or Japanese, yeah.
So this influencer is all pissed off. He says he learned about World War II. It was so intense he couldn't handle it.
All the more reason to learn about it.
But that's
right.
real life. If you can't handle real
Yeah.
life,
Right.
like this is something that happened, and this is what shaped the world like it is today.
He thinks learning about this is going to cause future mental health issues.
Well, this is how it is in colleges today too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can't,
Consideration of others. No, can't say that stuff.
but
Don't
it's,
talk this
it
way.
happened. It's
Yeah.
World War II.
Those
Right,
who
it
don't learn
happens.
history are doomed to repeat it.
Right.
So,
That's true.
That is so sad.
Part of history.
So
and plus, I mean,
he's saying
we
there's
won, so that's a great story.
yeah. He's saying there's a lot of other bigger problems going on today that we should be focusing on
don't-
rather than learning about World War II history.
They don't learn about it as much in Germany and Japan as we do here in America. But
Yeah. Germany was out of town from 1939 to 1946, so nobody was home. Nothing happened
when we
there.
were touring Italy a couple years ago, we had our tour guide in Italy was actually German, and one of the guys in my tour group kept asking really embarrassing questions like, "Oh, where'd they string up Mussolini?" It's like, "Oh God." This is why the world doesn't like America.
Right. Yep.
I want to take a selfie. Where
Yeah, where was Mussolini hanged? It's like, oh God.
Yep.
Well, I say keep teaching it. You have to learn your history.
Well, same thing now with the Civil War. The statues of the Southern generals.
Oh,
Yeah.
that they
Yeah.
want to burn them.
Pull them down. Change the names of high schools because they don't like the, Robert E. Lee High School.
Yeah, it's got to go.
Yeah, change it. It hurts my feelings. It's
If it should hurt anybody's feeling, it should hurt mine, but it don't because it's all part of history.
Yeah.
Okay? And now you're suppressing history by taking them down. Now,
Right.
how many northern statues had they took down? Not a single one. And people don't realize how close at one time that the Confederacy almost won the war.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Then guess what? The American flag would be the Confederate flag that would be flying if that
Yeah.
was the case.
Mhm.
You know, but still, it's part of history.
Mhm.
You shouldn't hide it anymore. Bring it out so people can see it.
Yeah.
Period. It's history. You know.
Well said, Frank.
I always get confused when I see people like in Wisconsin with the Confederate flag. I'm like, we fought for the North, right?
Yep.
All right, let's start this interview here. We got a little bit of interview time here. All right.
That one gets cut short.
Wow, that got cut short. Yeah. So my interview is over. Thanks.
There you go. So, what motivated you guys to join the service? You can go back and forth.
Oh, simple for me.
Yeah.
I was drafted.
Uncle
drafted?
Sam motivated
Yeah,
you.
yeah, he motivated me. I was drafted and stayed 46 years.
Okay.
I
So,
retired.
so it couldn't have been that bad.
No, it wasn't that bad. I had a roof over my head and I had money.
When they draft you, how long are you in before you can opt
do
out?
4 years.
4 years?
4 years.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you decided to stay.
I started to say.
Okay.
I had money, food, and a
Were
roof over
you
my head.
were you always in artillery?
No.
No, he was never in artillery.
Well, I thought. Well,
Toward the end, I was.
yeah, it was.
Toward the
It wasn't
end,
your
before I
whole.
retired.
Oh, I thought the 84th Division was all
No,
artillery.
no.
Oh,
3rd Brigade was artillery.
okay.
There were like five
So
or
that was
seven-
just your
seven brigades?
specialty.
Right.
We had 7 brigades at one time?
Yeah. That one. And then I was in the.
Second?
I was the drill sergeant for 13 years in the Army. And then I went armor. And then toward the end, I was in artillery.
Okay.
In 3rd Brigade. And then,
Yeah.
and then I went to Fort Sill also as a.
3rd Brigade, we transitioned 2 of the brigades into artillery.
Right.
How do you feel about when they changed the rules on what drill sergeants can say and yell at people?
Oh, well, I didn't like the idea of being a drill sergeant and these young recruits get a little bit more authority than I do when you're beating on them, not literally, but physically. You're beating
Yeah.
on them, kind of, with your hat.
You're
and
building
stuff,
them
and
up
your
mentally,
words, right?
yeah.
You're changing their attitude a little bit, and they pull out a timeout card that you can't mess with them. That's no place in the military for me.
Yeah, can you do that mid-battle? Time out, guys. Time out.
It's raining. My nose is running, so we got to stop the war.
My feelings are
Yeah.
hurt,
Yeah.
Sergeant.
So,
I don't
no,
want to talk to
can't
you
do that.
anymore.
Right. I don't like you, drill sergeant. I think I'm going to write home and tell my mommy, my daddy. No. Mm-mm.
Well, yeah, one of the things I had to go through was a cadre course
No.
as to what you can and can't do with a private. First off, you don't touch them. Then it got to the point where you can't call them names.
Right.
Don't call them a maggot.
Oh,
What?
come on.
Just call him a scumbag, but can't call him a maggot.
Right.
You know.
You had to use the correct language.
Ugh.
Didn't want to hurt their feelings.
And when was that? Because you finished up right before 9/11.
Well, I was a battalion commander at the time. That's when we were doing training missions at Fort Sill. And to go and work with the privates, I had to go through a cadre training course, so I knew what I could and could not do as an officer walking through the area.
in the late 90s.
Yeah, early
Early
90s.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because my battery, I was a battalion commander. I had 6 batteries. My batteries would go down there and actually augment the active component,
Right.
teaching basic and AIT, which is advanced individual training. So my drill sergeants would work one-on-one with the drill sergeants from the regular Army down there, and of course I had control over my sergeants, but I had to go through the cadre course so I could understand what we could do and can't do.
Okay.
So I'd have to take disciplinary action if I saw an infraction.
So you had to tell on yourself, or?
Not myself, if I saw it with anyone else.
Oh, okay.
Even if they weren't your sergeants?
I would have to report an incident.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Regardless of who owned it, if it's an infraction, you got to report it.
Wow.
They still had blanket parties back then.
Blanket parties.
You take the guy behind
That
the
sounds like
building,
fun.
throw a blanket over his head, and beat the crap out of him.
Oh, that doesn't sound like fun.
And this way, he don't know who did it.
Oh, that way.
That's the blanket part of it.
Right.
The blanket
Okay.
party.
Yeah, blanket
So
party.
anybody who's thinking of joining the military, what do you think they should expect going through basic training? There might be some people who are thinking about.
Basic training has expanded considerably since when I was there or running a AIT or even basic training, because they now have consideration of others in training.
Okay.
So that the cadets themselves, or the privates, are actually told, how to react with other people and be aware of how they feel.
Okay.
So,
Right.
yeah.
So it's a little better Better than when you went through?
It's
Softer?
yes. I don't know if it's any softer.
Okay. You're still doing.
If you would compare
Jumping
it,
jacks
if you
at
would
2 in the
compare it
morning?
to the Marine Corps basic, they use their rifles a lot more than what we do in basic training. They're issued a rifle and it stays with them almost 24/7.
24/7. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Whereas with ours, you take yours from the
You lock it
off
up.
the rack, yeah,
Yeah.
and it goes back to the rack clean at the end of the day.
Okay. So what's some sort of like culture shock you guys got when you joined, when you got to like basic training? What's something you didn't expect that was going to happen?
The diversity with the people
Yeah.
and the language with the people, even though 90% of them were Americans, basically. You take an individual, say from Wisconsin, and you send him down to a place like Fort Gordon, Georgia, yet the race could be the same, but there were 2 different languages,
Oh, yeah.
basically.
Mm-hmm.
So you had to learn the language
Oh,
first.
yeah. When they show swamp people on history,
Right.
they have subtitles.
Right, you have subtitles, right.
Different slang,
Yeah,
different
different
accents.
slangs, right. You know,
Okay.
that was kind of hard for me to adjust, and I guess the food
The food.
was kind of hard.
Awesome? No?
It all depends. You know, I'm not a big rice type person, so sometimes they would have like the ethnic foods for the diversity of the soldiers there on certain days, and once a month or twice a month. And it took a little getting used to eating it and seeing it and smelling it. Like I still stayed away from the rice. I'm not really a big fish type eater, you know. But now I kind of relax a little bit and I do more fish than I normally would do.
Well, Frank, you spent time in Laos, right? Or is it Cambodia?
In Vietnam, yeah.
Yeah.
And the rice paddies and stuff, seeing how it was, you know, and I just stay away from rice.
Not a rice fan.
I'm not a rice fan.
Okay.
Where's the
At
best
all.
food in the Army?
No.
Or what was your favorite meal in the Army?
You don't. You sure you want to know?
Were there no good ones?
There was good ones, but I preferred like at that when I first went into sea rations. I liked the
sea rations, that's-
okay. The beans and wieners in the can.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I still do that today. I buy pork and beans with the wieners. I eat it right out of the can. Cold.
Remind me to ask him about Frank and beans.
Okay, frank and beans. That's right. You know, I eat corn cold out of the can, green beans
Okay.
cold out of the can. You know, that's just something that I acquired that I got used to because normally in a position of authority and being charged with people, you are the last one to eat. 90% of the time, by the time you ate, there was no food.
Okay.
And if you found something to eat, it was cold.
Mm-hmm.
So that's my mentality now. I prefer, most cases, I prefer cold food.
Okay.
You know, because that's all I eat. You know, if I ate at all.
Mhm.
And a lot of times on maneuvers, I would like take out my favorite, like pork and beans, fruit cocktail, peaches, and of course, Spam. You didn't go anywhere without Spam.
Spam.
It's cold Spam. Oh,
Cold.
that's
Yeah,
a
it's
delicacy.
still eat Spam.
That's
Spam is
a
good.
delicacy.
Spam is
Spam
good.
is good.
Do you have any MREs at home right now? I think Dad might have a few.
Yes, I do. I still have 3 or 4 cases of the old sea rations. I have the MREs at home.
Saving them for a special
Saving
occasion?
for special
I'd have to be really desperate. To
So
eat.
when company come over,
Well, at least the
colonel's
MREs
coming
they have
over.
now are actually pretty cool.
right?
Yeah.
My brother was in the Navy, and he brought home a couple MREs a couple times.
Yeah, the self-heating ones.
The
Yeah.
self-heating
The ones you put the water in?
Yeah,
Yeah.
water.
Yeah,
Neat.
well, and they got the ones that they've got something in there that self-heats and cooks the stuff.
Right.
And I'm like, that's really cool.
There's nothing like it, yeah. And you got to have a bottle of Old Crow to chase it down. You know.
You don't get that in the mess halls.
Oh, that's right. That you don't get in the mess hall, but that you use when you're at home. You know. But it's a nice experience, you know. You know, for all the diversity to see how other people react, how they live, how they would respond to something, which might be a little bit different from what you would respond to, you know, because of your upbringing and your geographical location of where you lived.
Okay.
You know, it's all different, and then by the end of the cycle, you click like one big machine.
Yeah.
You know, race don't mean nothing.
Mhm.
Ethical background don't mean nothing. Religion don't mean nothing. You're like one big family, just rolling down the road, and that's what it's all about toward the end.
It's all teamwork.
Yeah.
It's all teamwork.
Right.
Oh, that's
You know,
excellent.
excellent team building. You know, for everybody, not only with the trainees, but for the instructors too, because you're learning something too that probably you didn't know before until you got together with this group of people. And every group of trainees is different. There's no two that are alike, because you might have this slight problem this time, and you might have something else the next time, or you may have 2 or 3 different ones the next time. You never know what you're going to get.
Okay.
Like Forrest Gump always said, and I'm not going to repeat it because that's one of my favorite things. But you never know what you're going to get.
Yeah.
Surprise, surprise, surprise.
All right.
So
We
Dave,
have
you went
a-
through the RO. Oh, go ahead, Molly.
Oh, I was just going to say we have a viewer, Lee Dickey, saying thank you for your service.
So
Thank
Dave,
you. We appreciate it.
Yeah.
And that goes a long way.
You went through the ROTC, right?
Yeah, I
So
did
is
basic
there
training
still
at
boot in that too?
yeah, sure.
Okay.
I went through basic training at Fort Riley. I made it private. Graduated as private. So then after that, of course, then you go on through ROTC, and then you have to, once you graduate and you pick your branch, then I went to Officers Basic, which is at Fort Sill Artillery.
And they made him an officer.
Yeah.
And ROTC is kind of like college, or it's in college.
ROTC is that, I went to Marquette University, and that was one of the ROTC Navy and ROTC Army at Marquette.
Okay. Reserve Officer Training Corps.
Mhm.
Yeah. So
The first 2 years are sign up for the courses. They don't ask for a commitment until your 3rd year. Then you can sign like a 2-year obligation.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Kyle did his ROTC in Texas. He said that was interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So how does military experience affect your life today? Like, how do you think it's affected you
I
today?
think it puts it all together. I mean, you learn discipline, you learn responsibility, you learn teamwork, you learn how to work with people. So to me, it was a great help.
Yes, and you learn a whole lot. And the people in the Midwest, the employers, they love hiring a veteran, okay, because of 90% of their background. And to me, I think what's so special, being at one time a National Guardsman, a reservist, and then the active Army, and when you see these units deployed, you have these commanders on the ground that are asking for soldiers from Wisconsin because of their dedication, their education, okay, and their partying, because they know after they do something, they're going to party, and there's going to be beer and brats. So that kind of goes a long way to me, and it makes the state looks good when you got commanders on the ground, okay, in Iraq or Afghanistan asking for soldiers from Wisconsin to fill in to help.
Wow.
Okay, and that means a lot.
Well, yeah, when we were mobilized for Desert Storm, we went down to Fort Sill, Oklahoma to expand the training base down there. And although right in Oklahoma there was an artillery reserve unit,
ooh, that got awkward.
Right there.
the commander of the school over there said, "No, I want the unit from Wisconsin. I don't want the unit from outside the city. 50 miles away. He'd rather have one that's 1,000 miles away. Bring them down."
Wow.
And that's what happened.
Wow.
Wow, that's excellent.
And we had a reputation there. He told us, he says, when we give you guys a mission, you just roll up your hands and say, "Hey, let's get the job done." They throw us in the crappiest barracks or whatever. We'd roll up our sleeves and say, "Hey, we need buckets and we need water," and we'd clean our own area and then start the mission.
Wow. Well, that makes me a little proud here. All right.
But now you got to remember, it costs you at the end. You got to have a big party.
Yeah, we threw
mission accomplished.
we threw a big party down there, and they don't know what raw beef is on rye bread. So we went out. We bought we went to the local butcher, and we said we need raw beef for sandwiches. Not for burgers or a grill. So it's
We need the
the
good
lean
stuff.
meat, whatever, the good stuff. We got like 10 or 15 pounds of it, and we had a party out. Of course, you can't have booze on post, so we had it out in the park. And we invited our counterpart, the guys who was working with us from Acton, and they were saying, "Where's the grill? We're going to make our own hot dogs or burgers." And he said, no. Look, here's rye bread. These are onions,
Get
salt
some
and
salt
pepper.
over there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there you go.
I had
And-
never had one of those before. Tom actually made me my first one.
Raw beef and onions.
Our first Christmas.
We ran out. We had to go back and get another 10 pounds.
They all liked it?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Now, did you have the Frank's hot sauce on it? You had to have the Frank's hot sauce.
No. What?
Yes. You got to put 2 drops of Frank's hot sauce. I'm telling you.
I'm gonna try this.
It's
I
like,
love Frank's, but I've never put it on a.
try it.
Okay.
It's like dying going to heaven.
So were the other guys like Those guys are fucking animals from Wisconsin over there. They do the job. They don't care. And then they eat raw meat.
Yeah, raw meat. Yep.
Don't even cook it for
They
us.
don't even cook
Good.
it.
That's right.
We're fine. Just give us raw meat.
Yeah.
Yep. Give us
No,
raw
they,
meat.
they
Yep.
enjoyed
Beer
it.
and raw meat.
They jumped right on in.
Yeah,
and
they liked it.
they actually started eating it. Yeah, more than us. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Molly, she never wanted to try it. I gave her first raw beef and onion sandwich,
I just had never tried it.
So it's off-putting at first, and then you do it, and it's great.
and then it's
But
awesome.
I can't make it
Oh.
the way he does.
I
I always make him make mine for me. He
Tony,
puts the right amount of salt
One
and
of
pepper.
one of our
and onions.
batteries ran the mess hall for the whole entire battalion, and the guy who was running the mess hall actually had his own catering service back up in Wisconsin.
Mm-hmm.
So when we were going down there, he brought oxtails. He was going to make oxtail soup, and a large quantity of oxtails. And we had to fill a refrigerator full of it. We had a food inspector come, and he said, "What is this in this refrigerator?" We said, "It's oxtails." He says, You can't serve oxtails. It's not on a diet. It's food that's not edible by human consumption. He says, "I'll give you guys 24 hours to get rid of this crap." I said, "Okay, I'm coming back tomorrow." Okay. Came back, went to the refrigerator, it was empty. He had some soup and a dinner. He said, "That's terrific soup. What is it?" We told him, "It's oxtail soup." We had to make this stuff because you didn't want it around.
Tony, you probably should tell them a story about when we would go out to have a cocktail, and they didn't have brandy at most of the places in Oklahoma at that time.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Everything was all flavored.
Well, even at the officers' club, I had a brandy old fashioned. Guy looked at me like I'm from Mars, and I said, "Well, you got brandy?" He says, "I think I do."
Dusty bottle of
No, he had to go down in the basement. And he came back and said, "Well, show me a bottle of brandy." I said, "Okay, now here's what you got to do." I showed him how to make it. Put in some bitters, ground up some cherries and that stuff, and I said, "Soda, not seltzer, soda, with the brandy and
brandy old fashioned sweet.
yes,
Yeah.
right,
Right.
and with olives." And he made it for me. And he just stared at me drinking it. I had 2 of them. Okay, he made the second one. I said, "Thank you very much." We had left the following. Came back a year later. Oh, he marked the bottle. He put it on the back and marked the bottle. I came back and I said, "Hey, I'd like a brandy old fashioned." He says, "I remember you." He grabbed the bottle and showed it to me right where he marked it. Nobody drank another drop of brandy
In a year.
in a year.
It's like, I knew you'd be back.
Right.
Yeah,
And then when a lot of the locations, when we would get sent back down to Fort Sill, we would bring our own brandy and just leave it in the bar.
Yeah.
And that was a big hit. And then finally, after about 8, 9, or 10 years, some of the bars down there, then they start carrying it.
Yes,
Brandies. Not the flavored stuff, just the good stuff.
Just the good stuff.
We got to keep it for these Wisconsinites.
That's right.
I guess the majority of brandy is consumed in Wisconsin.
In Wisconsin.
I've heard that.
Yeah.
When I was in Pittsburgh for a wedding, we went to a full bar. They didn't have brandy at all. I was shocked.
Yeah.
You couldn't even get a brandy old fashioned on there?
No, I'd have a whiskey old fashioned.
You order a brandy old fashioned, but he make a whiskey old fashioned.
whiskey.
Yeah.
And you say, "This is
Other
not brandy."
states don't even know what an old fashioned
Yeah,
is.
right.
They don't.
Well, we'll tell the universe. Brandy old fashioned and raw beef and onions, man. That's
Yeah.
what that's
And-
Christmas up
And
here.
remember, with Frank's hot sauce.
With Frank's.
Oh, that one time I went up to Maine after we graduated from college, and one of the guys wanted to go to New York, to visit his brother at a seminar or whatever, and we went to Burns Harbor, Maine, and we made reservations because I wanted a lobster dinner, and I told the waitress I wanted a brandy old fashioned sweet. She looked at me and wrote it down. She came back, she put it on my plate. She says, "Are you from Wisconsin?" I said, "Yes, I am." He said, "Well, the bartender says that this one's on the house. It's free." The bartender was from Wisconsin.
All right. Well, then you knew it was good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's excellent.
Well, what are some of the stuff you guys do with veterans nowadays?
Well, both Frank and I are in the organization called the Association of the United States Army. We're in the Milwaukee chapter on it. It's a big lobby group in Washington, D.C. Basically, they're there for improving the military, looking out for the military families. We're talking about wages. We're talking about housing. We're talking about health care, all family support. And it's the lobby group that works down there. Normally, you would find a chapter of AUSA, and all the military posts have them, including the military posts in Europe. So there's about 90 to 100 chapters somewhere in the world. And each one has members who join. We, unfortunately, we're in Milwaukee. We used to be with the 84th Division, but then the 84th Division left, so we're a standalone organization. And we work with, we try to maintain what National wants, and one of the things we can do is work with veterans from the VA.
Okay.
And there's more than work to be done than that. What we do, what we're starting on just this coming Monday, we take spinal cord veterans from the VA, so spinal cord patients in wheelchairs or whatever, put them on ice at the Wauwatosa Curling Club, and they teach them basic curling.
Okay.
Now, this is done from the Wauwatosa Curling Club. It's not.
Is that
we're
down
not
at
initiating
the
it. We're
Pettit
just
Center? Is that where they?
no. This is down in Wauwatosa.
Yeah,
Wauwatosa.
down in Wauwatosa.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, we just augment them. We'll be volunteers on the ice to retrieve the stones, because those things weigh like 40 pounds or whatever. Yeah. We help out with the veterans on the ice, and then my organization also buys lunch for them. So they have a lunch at the curling club. It's sort of like a little picnic for them, because then they don't have to go back and eat at the VA, the mess hall there or whatever. So they get a big kick out of that. Yeah. So we do it about 6 or 7 times during the season. We help out on the ice and then give them a lunch, a meal. Right. Frank also does other work at the VA.
I volunteer at the VA 2 to 3 days a week with the DAV, going seeing patients that are from up north or down south who has no family here in Milwaukee. We go and just talk to them and help them write letters, help them to make phone calls, and help them send emails and stuff. And the veterans are getting a big kick out of it. But not only do, as an organization, that we associate with the veterans, we also go into the inner cities and we work with the kids that are in school. One of the big things now, as far as working with the kids, everybody can't play football, everybody can't play baseball, and everybody can't play basketball. So we have a tennis program, and I'm with the Milwaukee Educational Tennis Foundation. And AUSA goes there and we help the kids. We teach them leadership, teamwork, and how to work together as a team instead of an individual. And the kids just love it. And we provide them lunch.
Okay.
And then we have a big tournament at the end of the year in downtown Milwaukee. And a lot of time we use the facilities at Marquette. We use the facilities at Merrill Park. And we bring about, at that time, probably 1,000 kids together from all walks of life, from all different sectors of Milwaukee County. And they just get along great. And it means a lot to me to see what's going on with these kids now. Yeah. Because no one appears to be taking interest in the kids. And you got to take the interest in the kids for them to be like us when they grow up. Yeah. So I like to, to be looked up at of helping the kids so they can get on the right track.
The good thing about tennis is you never have to wait in line for a tennis court to open at the park.
That's right. That's right.
You can just walk on anytime you want and use it.
So like I said, not only do we help the veteran community, we also help the civilian community. Because if we don't help the civilian community, you're not going to have veterans coming from there. People joining the military. Not that we're there recruiting, which we're not. Yeah. We're just helping them. See the light at the other end of the tunnel. Mm-hmm. And that's one of our big missions with AUSA. Yeah. And again, we got a lot of support, a lot of backers, that help us out and stuff, and we really appreciate that.
So if anybody else would want to help out with you guys, where can they find you?
If you go to Facebook, Milwaukee AUSA, what we do during the year, we try to post it, and you can actually either join. The organization is open to not only military and veterans, it's open to civilians as well. So if somebody believes in a strong military and wants to back up a military family support, they can go to that webpage. They can actually join.
AUSA?
I got a link there to join AUSA and become a member of the Milwaukee chapter.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, get out there, universe. Go and help out a strong veteran family.
I was going to say we do other things too, because we get involved with Marquette University, University of Whitewater, Oshkosh. What's the other ones? We give recognition to outstanding cadets who are going through ROTC. Basically, we want to tell them that there is an organization that they could join once they go into the military and support such things as family life, health, and good things for the soldier. Right. There's other organizations that they'll be asked to join too, but I think this one really works for a strong military army and the welfare of the soldier.
All right.
And we got people in Congress that goes there and fight for us.
Yeah.
Yep. Because they're just like us, regular old guys and girls.
Yeah.
So what are you guys doing for the Veterans Day this year?
Well, Frank and I were on the board of directors for the parade itself. This year, there's a lot of controversy over it's not
Gossip.
a parade like it used to be. Well, every year we have a theme.
I like the gossip.
Every year we have a theme, like be it for medics, be it for the Air Force, the Army, or a specific group of individuals, whatever. This year we're having it for the World War II veterans, and these are guys in their 90s.
Yeah, you just got to do the math on that one. They're getting up there.
They're getting up there, and
There's not many more parades left for these guys.
They are receding.
Yeah.
And we rather than just put them in a car and drive them up the street and in an open car.
And open your car to 30-degree weather for an hour.
Like today, a Saturday, cold weather.
It's cold.
And in the past couple of years, it's always been a bad Saturday. We've had rain, cold weather, whatever, sleet. And to put these 90-some-year-old guys in an open car and run down the street, I don't think they're going to get a big kick out of it.
Yeah.
So instead, we're having a little ceremony at the War Memorial building in Milwaukee, at the lakefront, and it's going to be open to the public. Veterans are starting to show up at about 9:00, and our veterans from World War II will be the honors, the honorees, whatever. We're going to have displays over there to kill some time, and at 11:00 they're going to have a nice ceremony at the what do you call that? Memorial Pond.
Yeah, at the pond.
At the War Memorial. Then we're going to have because they're, quote, it's going to be a parade, which is basically, by definition, a procession in public.
Mm-hmm.
Tom was trying to organize the world's smallest parade here in Grafton, Wisconsin. So.
Well, this will be a small parade too. But we're going to have all the various units, veteran groups in Milwaukee are going to march from the War Memorial across the what's the bridge called? What's the street? Mason Street. The Mason Street Bridge. Down to, I believe, Wisconsin Avenue or Juneau, whatever is there.
Juneau.
They're going to do it, and then we're going to either escort the veterans in golf carts, if they can't make the walk themselves. That's going to be open to the public so they can come and watch it. And then we're going to go into vehicles, and the entire, the units, the veterans, all the participants will then board vehicles, and we'll drive as a...
convoy,
not
per
kind
se.
of what do they call
Procession.
it? Not a
Motorcade?
A motorcade.
Motorcade, yeah.
Down to Potawatomi. Potawatomi will then be serving us a sit-down lunch or dinner.
Potawatomi's a casino.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They have, they're helping us out. We're going to have a special room for all the veterans and World War II veterans. And they're going to have a nice meal for everybody, courtesy of the parade. Mm-hmm. And they've interviewed a lot of the soldiers, made videos of their memories of World War II, and they made a little documentary on it. And they're going to be showing it to us, to all the veterans.
That's cool.
That's awesome.
And then, thanks to Potawatomi, they're hosting it over there. They are providing us with a meal that we're paying for, of course, but they're going to be giving everybody, all the veterans, extra $10 to go gambling.
Match
All
plays.
right.
Match play.
Because $10 is just going to get you started and
Yeah.
loosen up your pocket.
That's right. Yeah.
So then, after it's all over, they could either some of the veterans could stay and squander the $10, or just go home.
And the
That's
controversy is some of the younger veterans wanted more of a traditional parade versus the truncated parade.
What?
So there was squawk of, there's no parade this year. But there is a parade.
We're going to the casino. What the hell do you want?
Come join us.
They'll get used to it.
Yeah. You'll be fine. As soon as those
Yeah.
blinking lights and flashy stuff goes off, you're going to be glad you're not in the parade.
No, I was surprised that some units actually backed out because they wanted a parade. They wanted to go from 4th and Juneau and march up Wells Street
The whole
to
deal,
Wisconsin Avenue, and they were really quite mad that they couldn't march. So we told them,
Well, you got to care about your
90-year-old.
other soldiers.
You can still march, from across the Mason Street Bridge.
And in 30 years, when they're 90, we'll do this again.
They can carry their rifles, they can carry their banners, whatever, and you know,
Yeah.
we make exceptions for those
Right.
to do it. But a couple of units backed out and said they didn't want to do it.
Well, there's always next year.
Thank you very much, gentlemen, for coming.
Thank you.
We appreciate your service. Thank you very much.
Pleasure to be here.
Thank
And,
you for inviting us.
Thank you.
This
All
means
right.
a whole lot to us. And the people out there, thank you for your support.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
And check out
AUSA.
Milwaukee AUSA.
Milwaukee AUSA. Or if you're
On
from
Facebook,
somewhere else,
yeah.
I'm sure there's a AUSA out there in your neck of the woods. All right, quick speed rail here before we wrap it up. Miller is getting dropped. It will now be rebranded as Molson Coors.
Yeah, the Miller Park.
Yeah.
No, the
Oh,
whole
no, the
company.
beer
The whole
itself?
company.
The
Oh,
whole
I
company.
didn't hear
Miller
about that.
is knocked off.
Really?
Why?
It's those damn Canadians coming over the border and stealing our jobs.
Right?
They took her
Molson Coors, it's going to be
Well,
now.
they have a million labels. Can't we still have Miller Lite?
No? Well,
Still
you can
have
still
High
have
Life?
Miller Lite. It's just the company is getting
company.
rebranded.
All right,
as
as long
Molson
as they
Coors.
still
So
got my High Life at the liquor store, I'm fine.
you'll be
That's,
good.
that's the reason why they're renaming the stadium then, huh?
Well,
Yeah.
they got bought out. AmFam
Yeah,
Park or
it's
something,
American Family Insurance
Yeah.
Park.
Yeah.
which
great.
doesn't roll off the tongue
No.
quite like
Yet.
Miller Park.
AmFam. Mm.
Yeah.
Yet.
Well, the 5 counties still pay for it. They should just go back to County Stadium like it was.
Yeah.
Right.
There we go. Consuming too much black licorice can be harmful to your health.
Assuming
Stuff
any
is
black
gross.
licorice is harmful for your health.
Poison. Glycerin can cause the body's potassium levels to fall, which can cause abnormal heart rhythms, high blood pressure, swelling, lethargy, and congestive heart failure. Boom.
Fun story.
Chicago Library sees a 240% increase in book returns since they did away with the fees.
Huh.
Now
Okay.
people are bringing the books back, so they don't have to pay the fees.
They canceled standing fees, so now
Right.
people are finally bringing the books back.
So they're
Yeah.
giving them amnesty is what it
yeah,
is.
yeah.
Pretty much. So maybe
Well-
Blockbuster would still be open if they...
Yeah. Updated their business model.
McDonald's is bringing back retro Happy Meals November 7th through the 11th.
What's retro about them?
The toys. Retro toys.
Like just toys from the 80s and stuff that we had
yeah,
when we were
they're
kids?
probably going to crush the collector value on
So
them.
we'll get that transforming small fry.
Yeah.
No.
Turns into a little...
Maybe.
That was just
I
in
had
the paper. It's like 40 years old now, the Happy Meal or something.
Yeah.
like that?
Yeah,
Sounds
so
about right.
They're going to be bringing back the old ones. And here's a bunk story. The Boy Scouts are raising their fees by over 80%, $33 to $60.
There go all the Boy Scouts.
And the reason they came out and said why we have to do this is, well, everybody is suing our scout leaders, and we have to pay for that.
Yeah.
So,
That makes you
Yeah.
want to join.
Yeah.
Well, it's not unlike, I'm going to dabble in religion, when the Catholic Church and all its problems. And the reality is the parishioners like me got to pay for it.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that's where the money's coming from.
So,
Is what I throw in the hat every day at church.
yeah.
So,
So, the Boy Scouts are done.
Yeah.
Well, again, thank you, gentlemen, for coming.
Okay, thank you.
Mark, where can they find us?
sure, we are Off the Rails. He is Tom. I am Mark. You can find us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and our website, Off the Rails TM. Email us a fun story or you want to be on the show, offtherailstm@gmail.com. This podcast is on SoundCloud, YouTube, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, tons of other places. See our website for more details.
All right, and go to our Patreon page. You can get bonus footage, bonus materials. We're going to be showing more pictures of our house. That's coming on Facebook. You can't
Yeah.
avoid that. You ain't got to go to Patreon for that. Molly's been loading up on stuff to put on Facebook for that.
Heck yeah.
So again, thank you. Thank you to all the veterans out there for your service. Thank you very much, Universe. And remember, we're not good enough.
Thanks for tuning in, Universe.